Good morning, YouTube. This is All the Rage, George Page, coming to you live on YouTube. Usually I don't talk too much about too many of the male fighters other than maybe Can't Get Right John Jones and Lucky Charms Conor McGregor. But I want to talk about this young man, and I have some respect for him, especially with things going. He's a former Bellator fighter in Silverback Butler. Now, young Mr. Butler didn't have the best record in the UFC back in Victor. I think he was like I think he like a 2-5. His record it's not that good. 1-5. It was not a good a record, but he still came and fight. But one thing I respect about him was the fact that he's a supporter of the Black Lives Movement. I found this out why, like I said, I follow Leslie Peacemaker Smith, and Leslie's a very activist person. A few years ago she was trying to create a union for MMA fighters back in UFC, and and they got rid of her because her last fight was against Ironhead Aspen Ladd, and Aspen Ladd was on the rag, and she couldn't fight her, so they paid it off for her show money and in her contract because the fact was they didn't like a revolutionist. People like Dana White or any kind of person who's of wealth don't like when people on the bottom want to be considered more human. They have opportunities. But Ian is a supporter of Black Lives Matter, and a lot of right now a lot of UFC fighters are more like most of them pretty much are right wingers who support guys like Donald Trump. And it's just because of Dana White. They have a history because back in the day, the UFC used to have fights at his casinos back in New Jersey. And it's just they're Dana White kissed asses. I mean, it wasn't long ago that the Black Beast Derek Lewis made comments about Dana White about Trump supporting him because he comes to the fight. But the fact that because Obama didn't come, because Obama don't like MMA. Obama is a basketball. He loves basketball. That's his game. He plays basketball. He's not a fan of MMA. If he's not a fan of MMA, then that's him. But because Donald Trump is a fan of MMA, because of the fact that he made money off of it, but what money he could make. But Ian is one of those that support stands for something. While like a while back, I saw on IG was on Twitter where Eddie Alvarez talking about where he didn't want his kids to wear masks. Well, okay, if your kids get sick and they die, that's on you. And I've seen so much like people like Kobe Covington, how people follow his racist ass. I mean, I'm not a fan of Kobe Covington. I mean, I hope that I'm not a big fan of Tyron Woodley, but I do hope he jack his jaw like Usman did. But like I said, I support this man because he's a black man standing up for what he believes in. It's hard to do it, especially in an environment like UFC, which is mostly conforms to the white Christian Protestant uh, you know, just just a very highly racist environment. There's racist groups. I mean, I think it's a white T-Rex or something that even though hey they don't call these people out, but then if you are somebody who believes in something like Black Lives Matter, or there was a fighter who was a Kevin Johnson who supported Bernie Sanders, you know, and he gets called out. But if you ask any of these other fighters or any others people in the UFC, they'll be like, no, there's no such thing as racism, which it is racism. There's a double standard. And one factor is there's not as many women of color outside of maybe a few women from technically women of Mexican descent. They're more European. They are really compared to as white, but they pass enough for them. That's why people like a lot of Brazilians and a lot of women from Mexico black descent get an opportunity because they pass enough for white. But you don't see many women of color, other than like Marion Renault and Sandra Dobson and Vina Van Buren and also Sarge Eubanks. But like I said, it's just the double standards and the environment that UFC kind of caters to, mostly to white males between 18 to 40. That's why you see some fighters like Holly Holmes still fighting when she should be got cut a long time ago. But like I said, I support him. He even has his own website where he helps sells Black Lives Matter apparel, such as these masks and shirts. I looked at some of the shirts and I like them, but I can't wear them. It's hard to find a shirt for a big brother like me. Once anything past, if it doesn't go past 3X, I'm in trouble. Yes, I admit it. Yes, I'm a big man. I'm a big man. I'm proud of it. But anyway, I want to support Ian and and especially his support of Black Lives Matter. Let's like this. People talk about Black Lives Matter. Well, what about these protesters? What about these? There's, like I said before, there's some people in this world who just want to see the world burn. And that's aggravators. And Black Lives Matter are not about always about aggravators. And people talk about, well, you should be protesting. But wasn't that long ago when a bunch of group of nut jobs ran up onto the state senate of Michigan with guns, wearing masks? I think I'd be saying, somebody try to hold me up. But you don't ever really see Black Lives Matter protesters with guns, and they rarely ever cause violence. There's always going to be some, like I said, there's always going to be some anarchists in them just because of distraction wants to cause violence. But like I said, just like a few days ago, week ago, we had a Jacob, what's his name? Jacob Blake get shot 7 times in the back. We still hadn't got the man who shot Breonna Taylor into justice. We're still waiting on the trial for the guys who shot Ahmaud Arbery, and we're still waiting on the trial for George Floyd. There's a backlog of injustice done by so-called upright citizens and police that are still waiting on, and this injustice been going on for years. And I talked about that idiot Nikki Haley. And we know with the RNC, they had their little convention last week, and they had thrown out a few black people. Herschel Walker. Only reason why Herschel Walker was there because Trump owed him money from one time when the USFL got cut, and he still didn't pay him all the way. They already thrown out a few house N words every now and then. But the fact is, Ian, he's standing up for something. And I wish more UFC fighters like Ian and Leslie Smith really stand up for the right thing to do. Stand up for the fairness of people to have the right to live, to get paid, to make money for themselves, to be treated as human beings. As long as you have the Kobe Covingtons and and the Derek Lewises and any other fighters that support right-wing ideology, people will never get a chance to, go above what they are. Because it's not about race, it's about class. It's about the have-nots versus the haves. And the haves don't want the have-nots to have anything. I respect you, Ian SilverBack Butler. It's your man, All the Rage George Page. Don't subscribe. I'm out.